Hello Sounders, it's Mick here after the Watford game. I better have a look at the Watford game for a little bit. We'd lost the previous two games, albeit one against promotion favourites in Ipswich Town, but we were well beaten really in both games, I think you'll agree. And we've already lost 3 games at home this season. So anyone who's looked at the next 5 fixtures will be getting a little bit worried about where the points are coming from. So the Norwich game we approached as an important game. And the crowd, you felt at Fratton Park, were anxious. After the transfer window acquisitions and that game against those up the road in Southampton, fans had really been pretty up for it, pretty excited about the season ahead. Perhaps overexcited, overheated, over-hopeful. And that then leads to anxiety when things don't go as well as expected. Of course, Pompey haven't been helped by injury. I hesitate to mention injuries because every team gets them, we know that. We dealt with plenty last season, we know that. And our transfer window has provided us with playing depth pretty much all over the park, quite deliberately and quite rightly. But the 3 injuries we've lost are arguably, except for Bishop, the 3 you least want to do without as guys that are out of the game. Schmidt, Murphy and Shaughnessy. After the Norwich game, I might argue Shaughnessy is the one we most miss. We brought in Williams, Pack, Swift and Chaplin into the side. We scored 2 good goals. I know every goal we score is a good one, Sounders, but they were both spectacular goals, and we conceded 2 bad goals. I know every goal we conceded is a bad goal, Sounders, but they were spectacularly bad. The first 27 seconds, count them, after the second half kick-off, we concede. We don't often do that, thank the Lord. In the first half, we certainly deserved more, I thought, than a single goal advantage. In the second half, we were relieved to take the point. Although I thought Segicic unlucky not to win a free kick just at the very end there. Do you remember? Just outside the box and in the centre of the penalty area, so central to the goal, just outside the box, he was fouled in the 93rd minute. And Marlon, his eyes would have lit up to knock that one in. Anyway, it wasn't given. And I'm clutching at straws. I know, Sounders. Let's go on to player by player chat. Joseph Bursic, Joseph Bursic, our new keeper. This new player, to us, is shaping up to be a good replacement, I think, for Nicholas Schmidt. I mean, it may not be a permanent replacement, I'm not suggesting that really, but he's a good replacement. He had a shaky moment with one cross, but generally he seemed in command of his penalty area. And although he got a block on the second goal, he'd no chance with either of them, I think, if we're being fair and honest. He's okay. He's certainly, in my book, he's our second best keeper. Jordan Williams, his competition with Zach Swanson for the right-hand defensive position is a tight won a good competition, but he's a neat, precise defender. And his crosses into the box area were impressive in the first half, I thought, especially creating a chance for Hayuk, which was almost converted. I thought he had a pretty good game. Josh Knight, he's obviously a good defender to have in the squad, Sounders. He ventured forward quite a lot against Watford, to be a nuisance around Marlon's long throws. He hasn't yet been able to use his height as a set-piece weapon, and I don't feel the defence looks as comfortable with him as it did with Shaughnessy starting, and he lacks pace in retreat. But having said all that, obviously Josh Knight deserves time and my patience and some praise. Regan Poole made a terrific pass after about 2 minutes to unleash Yang Min-Ayuk. Still can't say it. I'll get there. Yang Min-Ayuk. In the first few minutes of the game, Regan Poole pushed that ball perfectly into to be deflected by Min-Ayuk. He stop saying it, Mick. And he turned and was brought down by the uncomfortable defender. Regan Poole shares the general discomfort shares the general discomfort of our defence just at the moment. I think that is fair. I think he just looks a little bit less comfortable than usual, but he's still a Buccaneer. He's still a good player. Conor Ogilvie, in the thick of it, as always. He works so hard. You feel he needs minutes with Min-Ayuk. Oh, blimey, Min-Ayuk. You feel he needs minutes with Min-Ayuk to understand him. It's not new that Conor lacks a little pace, recovering from a breakdown high up on the pitch. I mean, that's, crops up now and again, and it did against Watford. Andre Dissects, he's just in a purple patch for me, and long may it continue. If only Dissects could convert 1 or 2 more openings. But he's well up to speed now at this level, in my humble opinion. John Swift did okay. His experience shines through. I'm not sure he should take all the free kicks as well as corners. And I think he can be a little loose with the ball. And the misplaced pass at the very start of the second half, after 27 seconds, well, less than that for the misplaced pass, was extremely irritating. Connor Chaplin, look, much as we're delighted he's back with us, he's not really settled down to the job yet. He's not settled down to working with Colby. He's not settled down to creating and taking goals. We must believe it will come. And talking of Colby Bishop has had a couple of hard games with little to feed on, and I sense that he's feeling hard done by referees, which he probably is. Yang Min-Ayuk there had a fantastic first half. In the first minutes, he skinned that defender, Alain, and got him booked, which was great for Yang and a setback for Watford's defence. After just a couple of minutes. These things matter, don't they, Sounders? Their defence was never in control, I would argue, for the half. And Minayuk scored a very well controlled goal, accomplished goal. And he had a shot touched over the bar, made for him by Williams, and looked full of threat and fight, did the lad. He faded after the break, but in my book deserved to be man of the match, and really should, and I hope he does benefit from that. Harvey BLAIR replaced him, and he will also have benefited from a first run out for months. He was a little bit bobbly. He said it himself in interview afterwards. Something about being bobbly. I know what he means. He did look a little bit bobbly, but he's okay, and he's got a real chance at Fratton Park to become a footballer, I think. I hope. At the same time, as BLAIR came on, so did Adrian Segacic. He came on, Segacic, bristling with indignation at being left out of the starting lineup. And he looked good, and he worked hard, gave as good as he got, and he got that fine left foot shot on target. He's powerful. He's got a power in that left foot. And the more we see of it, the more we're going to like it. Terry Devlin also came on for Williams. He's unpraised a lot of the time, but he does add something whenever he is given a chance. Terry Devlin, it's energy and determination, but also, I think, an awareness of where the goal is and an awareness of what's required. He comes on at important times and he gets it. He gets his job. He understands his job. I've just realised, you may have noticed, I've left out Marlon Pack out of the summary of players, and that wasn't deliberate. That was complete. But I've remembered it now. I'd forgotten him. Very wrong of me, because Marlon is such a reassuring presence back in the side. Sounders, I honestly think the day we can pick a side without Marlon Pack, we will have a very good team. If you see what I mean. When we can do without him, we must be doing okay. But just now, feels we need him. And it was particularly satisfying. I enjoyed the last few minutes of the game when he was sort of playing in the middle of a three, and when we were pushing up wide on both sides and really going for it. And it was lovely to see him in control of that midfield and taking the ball and laying it off up the park. The only thing I have to admit is that it was probably when that was starting to emerge as a sort of move that we conceded that goal, which will have irritated John Mousinho hugely. So I want to finish by just something that I saw going on at the very end of the game. There was a guy playing in the game called Nestori Irankunda. You will remember him, Nestori Irankunda, because he was taken off after 35 minutes by Mr. Pezzolano, the Watford manager, and when he was taken off, A, he wasn't very happy, and B, the Watford fans, a lot of them, the younger ones particularly I noticed, but the Watford fans were not happy. In fact, they booed Mr. Pezzolano, and I think they even sang a semblance of "Sacked in the morning, you're going to be sacked in the morning." They were, I have to say, they were one down at that point in the game. But then I got interested in Nestori Ivan Kunda, and I watched him after the game. So let me just tell you a little bit about him first. In July, he signed a 5-year deal with Watford. It is said, believe me, Sounders, it is said and written, for 3.4 million sparklers. 3 million Kalugui. 3.4 million pounds. He's 19 and a half. He signed for Watford from Bayern Munich, and they had bought him, and here's where you'll start to see why I'm talking about him. They signed him for just around £1 million plus add-ons from Adelaide United. Adelaide, Australia. Nestori Irankunda was born 19 and a half years ago in Tanzania in Africa, and his family migrated to Australia when he was very, very young to get away from a civil war, because these things happen in the world. He's a very interesting boy. He did fantastically well at all age groups in Australia, and earlier this year, he was ranked one of the top 100 under 20 aged players worldwide, ranked in the top 100 under 20 players worldwide by the, if you want to know, International Centre for Sports Studies in Switzerland, which focuses on statistical studies of such football matters, I'm told. And that's what makes it a significant ranking. He's had, I read, a lot of disciplinary issues. And it's not surprising, because when he came off at Fratton after 35 minutes, he was absolutely furious, and the water bottle got smashed down somewhere. He started kicking our furniture, Fratton furniture, and then he disappeared down the tunnel. He was not a happy boy, but he's 19. Now, the reason that I focus on him so much is because at the end of this game against Watford, he came out onto the pitch, and he and our Adrian Segacic got together, had a big hug, a lot of chat, and exchanged shirts, because, Sounders, they are both Australian darlings, and they are both very talented young footballers. So as I watched him and Adrian Segacic have a long hug and chat and shirts exchange, I thought about one of them having played 35 minutes, the first 35, and the other one having played 35 minutes, the last 35. Both such talented young men, both hopefully with a long way to go in their chosen profession. I really hope so for both their sakes. So now on to Middlesbrough at Fratton, Sounders. We've got to get stuck in there. Play up, Pompey.